Number 7. I lurk here a lot, but have never posted. About 2 weeks ago, I was visiting my boyfriend's family with him, and getting to know them more, since we were in the process of moving in together. His family lives in a remote part of state, and I didn't get great cell service or access to Wi-Fi. We were driving back into civilization when I got bombarded with questions from my mother, who had went to my house to feed my cats. Why did you leave your door wide open? When did you get back? Why did you take all of your clothing? I messaged her to tell her that I hadn't left my boyfriend's parents' house until just a few minutes before I got her messages. She explained that she went over to feed my cats, and my door was unlocked. My bedroom door had been left open. My clothing, bras, underwear, socks, jeans, t-shirts, scrubs, were all gone. Even the hangers. They passed up my TV, my anti-anxiety meds, my games, laptops, everything, and just took my clothing. What's worse? The door wasn't broken. Whoever entered had a key. We started asking neighbours, and apparently, about a week before this happened, some guy was in my backyard and climbed over my fence and was walking around my house. They never thought to tell me about it. At this point, my anxiety is through the roof. I'm staying at my boyfriend's place and trying to make myself feel comfortable again. I feel like I'd be more okay with it if whoever it was had taken my electronics or meds as well. Just taking my clothing, especially my underwear, makes me feel dirty and violated more than anything. They even left my boyfriend's stuff still hanging up, including clothing that still had some tags on it. So, person who broke into my house and took every item of clothing I had there? Let's not meet. Number 6. Long time lurker, first time poster. Here it goes. When I was in middle school, about 12, I had a friend that I used to do sleepovers with. On this particular night, we were staying at her house. Her mother worked nights, and we knew the drill. No one in the house, don't leave the house, etc. Being 12, we were dumb. At about 11 or so, we decided that we were bored and we wanted to go for a walk. Keep in mind, this was back in 2001 or so. Neither of us had a cell phone. We left out of our house and began our walk. We'd been walking for about 10 minutes when we heard someone behind us. It was 2 guys, older than us, probably high school age, maybe a little bit older. It was dark and we couldn't really see them very well. One of them asked if we had a cell phone. Being dumb, we were honest and told them no. We kept walking, now heading back towards our house. I was slightly creeped out, but didn't really know why, so I tried to brush it off. We noticed the 2 guys were still following us, so we started walking faster, and so did they. They were a little closer every time we looked back. I remember them talking, but not what they were saying. My friend and I started to run, and damn if the guys behind us didn't start too. We were terrified at this point, and our house was still kind of far away. We decided to take a chance and bolted for the first house we saw. We rushed to the front door and started banging on it as hard as we could. The two guys were still coming towards us when the door opened. The woman who opened it let us in, and we explained to her what was going on. The two guys were still outside at the end of the driveway, just standing there. After about 5 or 10 minutes, they turned and left. We waited a bit longer, and then the woman drove us home. We got in the house and locked the doors up. That was the last time I went on a leisurely nighttime stroll. I'm still not sure of what the guys wanted, though I could probably guess. Either way, creepy guys, let's not meet again. Number 5. This happened when I was about 19. My mum and my younger sister went out to the grocery store, and my older brother was at a friend's house, so I had the house to myself for about an hour or two. I was relaxing, watching some TV, when I heard footsteps coming from upstairs. Now, I'm a very paranoid person, because of earlier experiences, and I just kept saying to myself, "You're okay, you're okay. It's an old house." Just thinking of rational explanations. So I turned down the TV a little bit, to show myself I didn't hear any footsteps. About 20 seconds after I turned down the TV, I don't hear anything. I start feeling a little more comforted, until I heard my younger sister's bedroom door open. I immediately rise up, looking up the staircase. I was relieved to see it was my cat, but I thought it was weird that, 1, my sister would never lock her cat in her room, and 2, I didn't know the cat had enough force to push the door open. Again, I thought that the cat snuck in, and she had accidentally locked him in there, and since my sister's door is so fragile, anyone can easily push the door open. Honestly, after the event, it honestly could have been the cat, but it's still a little weird though. I start to laugh at myself, calling myself too paranoid. I sit back on the couch and continue watching TV for another few minutes, before deciding to go outside and walk around the driveway, the only exercise I get. I go outside and start walking around the driveway. Now, an important thing to remember, my older brother, a few months before this event happened, accidentally broke my blinds while trying to put them up, so anyone can easily see in my room, but I've been too busy with work, and lazy, to actually buy some curtains. I walk around the driveway about 5 or 6 times, when I look up to my room, and see a man. Seriously, why does every creepy man come for me? I can't make him out that well, as the reflection of a tree in our yard reflected on the window. So I can make out he was 55 to 60, had grey hair, a stained green shirt, and a black baseball cap on. He didn't see me, as he was snooping in my room, and I saw him holding some of my necklaces. I grab my phone from my pocket and start dialing the police. When I get off the phone with them and look up, boom, the man is staring at me. A jump scare just happened to me. He was smiling and waving his old crusty fingers before he proceeded to signal for me to come up there. I cringed and started to cry. All of this within 15 seconds. Flashbacks of the man I encountered earlier, and everything else that happened started flashing in my mind. Why does my country hate me? I kept thinking. Then what happened next makes me disturbed, yet hysterical. He started wiping his ass against my window. I noped the fuck out of there running down my street and almost getting run over by the cops. They found feces on my window and a couple of $20 bills stolen and my closet ransacked. He must have made an escape when I was running down the road. Why don't they ever get captured? And I was throwing an absolute pity party for myself, calling in sick to work, and acting melodramatically so my mother would pay for my food. The incident does really freak me out, knowing a man was upstairs this whole time while home alone. And God knows how he got in. I must be wearing a creepo mirror or something. Number 4. A little short encounter, but it scared me shitless, so I felt this should be told. This situation happened a while ago, but still haunts my nightmares. I wish I couldn't say the same for my friends who were with me. But enough rambling, on to the encounter. I was with a few friends of mine. We'll call them David, Sarah, Toby and Emily. We went to Sarah's house as she wanted us to stay there with her while she was alone. She was an extremely cautious person who would jump at any noise whatsoever. We went in and Sarah instantly wanted to be by my side, as I was the biggest one there. The peace and quiet was short-lived, however. We were watching some TV, and we heard a constant banging on the door. A middle-aged man was screaming, "I'm hungry! Let me in, damn it!" Sarah instantly started to cry, as me and David went to see what was going on. Big mistake. The guy saw us, and started to bang harder. Me and David blocked the door, and ran into Sarah's room, as there were bars on the window for protection, of course. I found a big stick we used for a prop for a project, and stood at the door ready. Then, silence. Until he banged on the metal bars behind Sarah, as Sarah started to wail hysterically. The neighbours heard, I guess, as one of them called the police and the man ran away. Later, Sarah would not leave David on my side until we heard he was arrested, which I was relieved at. But that little encounter scared the living shit out of me, and still does to this day. So, whoever you were, I have a favour to ask. Let's not meet. Number 3. This happened back in 2014. I went for a night out for Halloween during my first year of university. I was wearing high-heeled boots and a leather jacket. Over the course of the night, drunk me had taken them off and left them at our group's table, due to being uncomfortable. By the end of the night, I'd pretty much danced myself to near sobriety, and I went to my group's table. However, they'd given up the table, and my boots and jackets were nowhere to be seen. Someone had stolen them. Whatever, they weren't expensive, and I rarely wore them anyway. Now, however, I had to walk the 15 minutes back to my accommodation. I didn't have money for a taxi, so I thought I'd just walk slowly. I asked one guy, the arsehole in the group that everyone hated, if he could just keep me company because he was tall. He laughed, said no, and walked off, dragging the only girl who was also shoeless with him. So I was walking alone, shoeless, in a busy city centre, watching out for broken glass or anything else that was harmful or disgusting. Everyone else was so far ahead that I couldn't even see them, but I just kept going. I was halfway to my place when I was stopped by a Middle Eastern man. The city was very culturally diverse. He asked if I was okay, and I was grateful someone cared enough to make sure I was alright. He offered to help me walk home, so I accepted, for at least part of the way. He was very kind and told me his name was Omar. He started saying how beautiful he thought I was, and how lucky he was to have found me, which unsettled me slightly. Once I was around the corner from my place, I thanked Omar and said I'd walk the rest of the way on my own. He instantly looked offended. "Don't you want to invite me in for a cup of tea to thank me?" I told him no, because I don't know him. He kept hold of my wrist. "Well, can I have a kiss for helping you?" Again, I declined, and his grip tightened. "Well, do I get a hug for being your friend?" By this point, I just wanted him to let go, so I gingerly gave him a hug. He then grabbed me and tried to kiss me, but I pressed my lips together, and instead, he just licked up my face. I finally get free and start walking away. He follows me. I speed up, and so does he. I abandon my check for glass on the floor and begin sprinting, now terrified as I hear him running too. I get out my phone and call my friend Rob, who I beg to help me. Omar is no longer following me, but I needed someone to keep me safe. He agrees and gets to my flat not long after I do with a knife, just in case Omar was there. I told the people in the group, and they were mortified they left me alone. I returned home for a week because I was thoroughly shook up. Now on a night out, I make sure everyone is close by, so it doesn't happen to me again, or to anyone else. So, Omar, let's not meet. Number 2. So this happened to me when I was 19, working in my second job. I worked at Chipotle, and one of my closing duties as cashier was cleaning the dining area, as well as the restrooms. I had been on the job for half a year, and I honestly preferred the closing shift because it was far more relaxing than the morning rush. It was in the last 40 minutes before closing, and we had a small cluster of customers come in. One man in particular, I would say, was a frequent customer. He would come in every other weekend. I'm terrible at names, but he seemed to have remembered my name, just after meeting me once. Now, I always have my happy to help smile on, but he always had a habit of making my smile drop. It's not that he would say anything bad in particular, he just had a creepy way about him. On this particular night, he dined in, while everyone else in the small cluster of people came and went. He sat at a circular table facing my register, just watching me. Every time I would look up, I would catch him staring. He didn't even bother pretending that he wasn't. He would just lock eyes with me, until I would step into the back just to get away from his peering eyes. It was really fucking creepy. Thankfully, we had 10 more minutes and it looked like no one else was coming in, so we started closing duties early. My manager wanted me to clean the bathrooms, since he didn't want me to rush my creepy onlooker. I was glad to, and went to grab the mop bucket and solution to scrub the restroom, Now, the restroom was right around the corner, a few feet from the register. The bad thing was that our fountain drink blocked our view of it, so we could never tell who was coming or going to the bathroom. I'm mentioning this because what happened next is what took my night from creepy to fucking disgusting. As I went and cleaned the female restroom pretty quickly, I thought I heard the door open, but I didn't hear the clunk of the door closing, so I thought I was hearing things. The men's restroom always required a lot more attention, so I didn't think much of it as I rushed in there quickly. What I saw fucking made me blink in disbelief. There, standing by the urinal facing the entrance of the door, with his dick out stroking it pretty hard, was a guy from the dining area. With a fucking disgusting lewd look in his face, he tried taking a step forward. I was horrified, and all that came out loudly was, "Why?" Really loudly, which must have freaked him out because he tucked it into his pants pretty quickly. I should have blocked him, but as he rushed at me I stepped back and ran towards my register area swearing and trembling. When the guys cleaning the grill noticed, they came out asking what was wrong, and I started bawling. They got my manager and he wrote down the incident in his notes. After that, I got sent home. I would love to say that they caught the son of a bitch, but they didn't. He got away with flashing me, and has made me extremely paranoid about public restrooms. I'm the type of person who dwells on shit, and I still can't stop myself from wondering, if he had hid, he could have very well easily assaulted me. I hate to think about it. So, flashing jerkbag? Let's not meet. Ever again. Number 1. So, me and my friend were relocated with work for 6 months. We found a flat and off we went. Everyone that lived in the flats were really friendly, and everyone said hello to each other, etc. Lovely people. There was one guy who liked to travel. He told us he was off to Thailand. On his return, he had brought with him a guy that he met over there who was looking to rent a room somewhere. He was polite, also saying hello, would wave from his window. We stopped seeing the owner so much, and I know everyone else started asking the tenant if the owner was okay. He used to play his TV really loudly, and no one had heard it for a while. The guy was charming, and oh no, we did this last night. We had dinner, etc. After a couple of days we didn't see him either. Fast forward a couple of weeks. I get home and there's police everywhere. I had to sign into my building with the police. As I walked up the stairs, the smell hit the back of my throat, and I couldn't hold back the vomit. The tenant had used the owner's phone to text the owner's family saying he was fine, and not to contact him, as he was going away again for a week or so. In reality, the tenant had killed the guy by hitting him round the head at least 12 times with either a hammer or a bat, and then left him there. To make it worse, his pregnant daughter found him. There would have been a lapse, so all the time that he was saying hello to us and the other neighbours, and telling us that everything was fine, he was in fact living with a dead body wrapped up in a rug in the flat. We later found out that he had murdered him, and transferred a measly £7,000 from his account to his own, and then run away to Thailand. The scariest thing about this man was not knowing that he had murdered someone, and had remained so calm, planning his getaway while staying in the flat with his victim, and still being very cheery with the neighbours. And I know that every day he stood at the window waving at me and smiling, he was in the same room as the body was found, which makes me feel really sick, knowing that poor guy was with him, and I just stood waving. I hope we never meet again. P.S. I have included a link in the description, which was left on the story, so make sure you check it out if you want to hear more about what happened. Well, anyway guys, that's it for this video. If you enjoyed them, please leave a like, share and subscribe if you haven't already. If you have any stories of your own which you would like to have shared, then please make sure to contact me. Link in the description. And you may be featured in a future video. Well, anyway, I hope to see you soon, and I'll speak to you later.